Din punct de vedere tehnic, este posibil ca negocierile de aderare cu Republica Moldova să se încheie la sfârșitul anului 2028. Declarația a fost făcută de comisarul european pentru extindere, Marta Kos, într-un interviu pentru Euronews România. Totuși, aderarea este în mare pericol. Dacă la putere în Republica Moldova vor ajunge forțe pro-rusești, iar acestea vor bloca reformele, așa cum s-a întâmplat în Georgia, UE va opri toate programele, toate ajutoarele și, implicit, asta înseamnă că Republica Moldova ar putea rata o oportunitate istorică, aderarea la Uniunea Europeană. Vă invit să urmăriți interviul pe care l-am făcut cu Marta Kos.
Commissioner, thank you very much for being with us. And I would like to start asking you about the idea that I saw on Republic of Moldova government. They says that EU accession is planned for 2028, but 2030 was considered an optimistic date. What do you think now about the year 2028?
I would, and thank you for giving me this opportunity, Vitali. I would differentiate between the accession process as a technical part, and at the end, the time the member states would need for approval of the accession treaty. So, from the technical point of view, it is possible that we finish negotiations in 28, at the end of 28. But usually, it depends. But it takes then 1 to 2 years that all the member states approve the accession treaty. So both dates are feasible, and it is doable under the condition that also after the elections on the September 28, we will be able to go on with our work, meaning that the government and the Parliament of Moldova will push for the further reforms which are needed.
Yeah, and we see, I mean, here from Bucharest, we see a big threat that is coming from Russia. What elements of Russian threat do you see for Moldova's EU accession process specifically?
First, I see spreading the lies. So this is my task, the task of my team and everybody who is working on this, that we tell the truth. And the truth is that we can offer a better future than the Russia can. Then we see concretely interference in buying votes. So it is interfering in the election process, which is really very undemocratic. And of course, you know, as we know, and we have the information, Russia has reorganized their department on Moldova in Kremlin, if I say so, to be really, you know, active in this. So apparently Moldova is so much important for them that they want to do more. Meaning that it is undemocratically what they are doing, and that's why it is even more important that we communicate very clearly and tell what's the truth.
Now we see and we know election in 28 September are historic, very important, and there will be this possibility that Russia-friendly parties could do well in these elections. We will see what's happening. But if they will do well, if they will win the elections, how could that impact relations with Brussels? I mean, relation from Republic of Moldova with Brussels.
It is clear if the pro-Russian forces will win and will stop the accession process, this will be a huge step back. And, you know, I hear sometimes that nothing will happen and Europe will stay on the side of Moldova, even if the pro-Russian forces would win. Not at all. You know, we have a case in Georgia where they were backsliding in democratic processes, in the protecting of human rights, and then we stopped our support. So it will not at all be business as usual. if we will not be able to go on with the reforms, with the accession process, then we will have to consider and of course stopping our support. That's why I see these elections so much important. You know, the present government has done and the parliament, of course, all the political stakeholders in the last 3 years more than in the past 30 years. And the people of Moldova really deserve a better future. You know, why wasn't it possible before? Because some politicians, oligarchs, were not taking care about the future of Moldova. They were taking care about their future and their money. And instead of building the future for Moldova, they have built their villas. I will be very direct. Their villas in Moscow, in Dubai, in Greece. And this is not okay. So the people of Moldova really deserve politicians who will take care about them, the people of Moldova, not about some people who will get rich and will just use this opportunity for them.
Yeah, it's a very interesting that how you describe the situation, but Moldova citizens will have a big issue to identify who will be the party, pro-European party and pro-Russia. Could you say now how you could define what are or who are the pro-Russian party? I don't know, you couldn't mention them, but how we could describe them, how you define them?
You know, for me, it's important. I hear that from here now in Moldova, in Chisinau, that also some pro-Russian parties are pro-European. I don't get this. You know, how can you be pro-Russian who is suppressing democracy, who is putting people in jail because they say their opinion, who is willing to kill people to get rid of the opposition? I don't, you know, it cannot go together. Of course, they can have some good pro-European ideas, but you know the actions are important. So the willingness to do the reforms needed in the accession process, for me, it will be the most important criteria. Again, I can take into the consideration Georgia. Backsliding on democracy, suppressing civil society organizations, not allowing journalists as you to work in the free world, you know, this is something we will never accept.
Right, I understand. So we could describe them by their actions. Ukraine has some opponents in the EU accession. We saw that. The Republic of Moldova does not. Hopefully, does the European Commission categorically oppose decoupling Moldova from Ukraine in the accession process? I mean, when it will be clear that Ukraine and Moldova cannot join EU together?
Until now, both countries have done their homework. So they have fulfilled criteria. It is merit-based process, as I love to say in this technical part. And both countries deserve to open the cluster 1 as soon as possible, and all the other clusters probably in this year. At the same time, the accession process is also a political process, and we have to consider the concerns of our member states. That's why we are still working on one member state to come to the situation that opening clusters will be okay. And later on, you know, it is a tough work. It is opening the cluster is important, but much more important will be closing. So, and in this, it will be even more merit-based. And of course, we will follow the tempo and the willingness of the reforms in each of those two countries.
And you decide on how they're closing the clusters, when to decoupling them, Moldova and Ukraine?
I think this could be a natural process.
Right. We spoke about pro-Russian and pro-European parties, and now we saw some Moldovan politicians banned from entering EU and Romania as well in the Schengen. And I will give you one example. It's Ion Ceban. This is the mayor of Chisinau. They are considered risks to EU security. What will happen in the event of EU accession? Will these politicians have the right to enter without any problems in EU? Are there still any issues here? Are they still have a risk for EU security?
It's the member states who decide about their security issues. And of course, if they think that somebody could harm the security, they issue this entry ban, which is then, for all the EU countries. Meaning that we will have to see how the member states will react to this. To some occasions, there are also exemptions. The person you have mentioned, he was invited to a conference and he was able to go there. So this is really something we have to follow carefully. And of course, security today, the member states have a difficult and different situation. Security situation, I would say, in Poland, with the border to Belarus, where migrants are misused, it's a different situation than, for instance, in my country, Slovenia, or in Spain. And this is what we see now. We see, you have been mentioning security, is really getting more and more priority also in the accession process.
Also, one of the last topic on my list will be about Transnistria. How can Moldova join EU? It's a country that does not fully control its territory. I'm referring to Transnistria. What solutions exist for solving the Transnistria's issue?
The European Commission respects the territorial integrity of Moldova. And before Moldova will be able to enter EU, I am sure that we will find solution also to this issue, as we have in the past found a solution to many challenging issues in the European Union. And I see the bright future if I stop at this.
Yeah, and my last question will be about the Russian army on the territory of Republic of Moldova. It is dangerous for European Union. It is still there, and it will be there even Moldova will enter into EU.
Two very important points. First, there has never been an armed conflict on the territory of the European Union. And even Moldova is still a candidate, we take care of our candidate countries. Having a Russian army, Russian arms close by is never good, especially if this army in some other constellation, in some other candidate country is killing people. So we will take care about the security. And, that's why integrating Moldova in the EU is so much important. Namely, we cannot afford, and I cannot imagine, that Moldova, being Russian entity in the future, will contribute to the security of Europe. So we have to see the connections between then Moldova and the south of Ukraine. And, it is 3 hours from Odessa to Chisinau. So in this respect, we are aware of this situation, monitoring it closely. And of course, it is not only about the security in Moldova, it is also about security in Europe.
Commissioner, thank you very much for the interview.
Thank you so much to you, and all the best for the elections. And thank you, and this is now out of the interview, thank you for the role you are doing to keep people informed. I appreciate this a lot.
Thank you. Thank you.
All the best. Bye.